Hi, I'm Rosie and I make stuff. In this video I'm going to be making this 1920s/30s hat, which I found the pattern on this blog, which is linked below. Here is my paper toile. Yes, it looks rubbish. Bear with me. So here is the 8-inch circle cut in half and the lozenge shape over the top, and it wasn't very obvious from the picture, but yes, it did need to be tucked, pleated, gathered. I'm not sure what the original intent of the design was, but I think maybe pleats will be better than gathers, especially in a more rigid fabric. Next thing to do is make some proper pattern pieces from pattern paper. Woohoo! I would have liked this to come in a roll, but I guess this is easier for posting. Right, how am I going to do this? Because I had 5 meters of paper there, I decided to just measure out what I needed and cut that. So I needed an 8-inch circle, a rectangle that was 6 inches by 15 inches, and an 8-inch by 29-inch rectangle. I have my basic pattern bits cut out, and it's nice and easy to work out the size of paper you need and then cut it. So this is going to be my 8-inch circle, this is going to be my lozenge shape, and this is just going to be a basic rectangle for the brim. How can I work with tools like this? I have a compass, I have a pencil. Does the pencil fit in the compass? No! Why would it need tiny pencils? This is a normal size pencil. Why is this so difficult? Okay, so I probably shouldn't have ranted about that, because looking at this, hey look, it doesn't fit round pencils. How round pencilist. So I could have sworn this is an IKEA pencil, but it doesn't say IKEA on it. Okay, there. Do you ever think that inanimate objects hate you? This is my slightly more difficult one. So it's 15 inches long. In the middle, it's 6 inches wide, and at each end, it is 4 inches wide. If you can hear a humming in the background, that's my computer struggling to live. Okay, so now these curves need to be somewhat even. Okay. Okay, right. 11" there, 3" there, as marker points, just so the curve is even. Because if I did 11 and 3 there, and then like 15 and 7, the line will be a different length. I'm a stupid person. 15 divided by 2 is not an equal number, so why have I put the middle here? Should be here. Who is not functioning on all of the brains? It is me. Okay, 14 and 7½. I'm not saying grumpy today, but I'm a little bit grumpy today. It's a Monday. Okay, this is piece B. 29. That's cut 1. This one's a rectangle. Okay, this is 8 inches, only 29 inches. And it's the hem? Is it a hem? Brim. It's a hat brim. It gets folded in 2 and sort of pleated around the front for decoration. Right, because these are a bit crumpled, I'm going to give them a very light ironing before I cut them out, just so they're nice and smooth. I cut out my pieces and then suddenly realised that that circle should be cut in half. So retract that thumbs up for 30 seconds and then re-thumbs up. This is the fabric I'm using today. It is a wool cashmere blend, and I've had this in my stash, I worked it out, since 2006 when I bought 1 metre of it and did nothing with it. You may recognise it from my previous video. I used it to back my punch needle bee. This is the remnant of about 1/2 metre I had left, and I enjoyed using it. I'm glad it's being used up from my stash, but I wouldn't recommend it because it is a little bit chunky for this, and it doesn't really have like a weave, it's just felted, so it was really difficult to like pick up fine stitches because you were just grabbing fluff, which was deeply annoying. Just outlining it in chalk, which did not work. These pattern pieces are obviously drafted without a seam allowance, so I'm just roughly cutting out the shapes here, although in retrospect I should have added a little bit more on that particular section there, but never mind. We learn. I learned a lot from this. I could probably make a second hat competently, because this hat did not go together competently. But I have learned, and all my mistakes are in this video for you to just not do these mistakes. This is not really a tutorial, it's just me faffing about with fabric and trying to learn and be a better sewer. So feel free to take from it whatever you desire. I'm going to sew this beast now. Ow. Very, very gently. You may notice my sewing machine doesn't squeak anymore because I bought some oil. Hooray! So now she sews like absolute butter. It's kind of beautiful. Oh, what do I do with these clips? I'm gonna flatten this down, and what direction do I want these to be? Yeah, two going one way, two going another way. That's fine. Cool. It's a little bit tough over 4 bits of material, but Edith sails through it. Because she's pretty good. Just having to push through that a little bit. That's fine. That's me dropping stuff on the floor. Ignore that. Pretend I'm a professional. and steam through that. So I've sewn inside my basting line so that I can get those basting stitches out. Quick look at the result. Flipping it out. It's pretty nice. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Now I've got the other side to do. Crown of a hat. Does look quite 20s cloche like as well. Gonna cut down these seam allowances now. Off camera, I added the brim rectangle to the crown of the hat, and because it's longer and needs to be gathered, I put 3 little pleats, which you can see just past the foot, into each side. The ends of the rectangle will meet at the front, which you can see in the top left corner, and that's where the gathering of the brim will happen. For the decoration at the front. You can see here I've used these clips to pull out the excess fabric, and these are fantastic clips. They're normally for quilting, and quilt makers use them, and they are very, very expensive. But if you buy the unbranded ones, they are very, very cheap. I think I got a bag of 50 for about £3 on eBay, and they are very useful. They're very strong. Grip quite a lot of fabric. One thing I regret doing on this part is not sewing together the brim as one continuous piece before sewing it to the crown, because it lumped together a little bit and was a bit uneven, and it would have looked better if I had done that. You may not have realised this far, but I am making this up as I go along, because all I had was the picture of the pattern pieces and no instructions. So here I am frantically trying to pin together the pieces and try and make it work. I've pinned the inside of this to try and make it look like a hat, and I tried it on in the mirror and it's kind of stupid, so I thought, why not share how stupid I look on the internet? There we go. I don't know how this happens. But I think it folds up like that, and then it goes up like that, and here is where it kind of do these. There's another one here, can't see it. Kind of ruffles. Does that look 20s? Or does it really 90s? I think it looks kind of 90s. Should be a bit more like that. It is a very nice warm hat, if I don't think about how silly I look. I mean, that's the beauty of silly hats. You feel nice and warm, but you can't see how silly you look. I don't know. I decided to give my seams a light steam, just to press them in the direction that I wanted them to go. And maybe that would make it behave a little bit more. Obviously I couldn't help but just try it on all the time. That is the downfall of making hats, I think. You just put it on your head automatically. And I'm ironing down the seam allowance of the brim, just so I can clearly see where it's going to go and pin up. And then, obviously, I try it on again. I'm a little bit worried I look like Genghis Khan. So I had this little fat quarter of Cath Kidston, which I'm going to use for the lining. But I'm just going to adjust this pattern piece slightly, because I don't want it quite so full inside. So I'm going to take off some in the middle. So now it measures 12 inches, or just under, instead of 15. I have my 2 half circles. 12 inches is a great size because I accidentally drew it out incorrectly the first time I drew out the pattern pieces, and I did this 12 inches instead of 15, and it was just like a perfect sphere, and I was like, oh great, and then I realised I'd done it wrong, and that's when I have to add the inside gathering. So I know that this measurement works. I should probably say that these pattern pieces are without seam allowance. Lovely. And Shazam! Right, I'm gonna pin these pieces together and get out the sewing machine. my lining is all sewn now. And it's going to go inside here, but first I'm going to from inside here. I can set the lining in and hand stitch this. Keep forgetting what it's called. The brim. Yeah, the brim. I'm leaving a seam allowance of about 1/2 centimetre. This felt doesn't fray at all, so doesn't need any other finishing. That's looking nice. I need to finish off this little bit here and sew these edges together, and then cut that down and get the bulk out. I'm cutting the seam allowance as close as I dare, because this is the part of the brim that gets ruffled up. So there's a lot of fabric there anyway that needs to be ruffled up. And I'm just finishing off the bit that I probably should have done a little bit earlier, just to get those two pieces together. Just popping the lining into place. If I do this again, I will add about 1 inch, maybe 2 inches onto the bottom of those pattern pieces of, you know, danger fabric, just so I can put the brim anywhere I like, because I was a bit short on fabric. Just pinning in the brim. I decided that the front and the back parts of the brim would be smooth and flat, and the excess of the brim would go in a similar way to the outside, just 3 tucks on each side. Although, spoiler alert, I changed my mind when I was actually sewing for realsies, not just pinning it for the millionth time, and decided to put 2 larger tucks towards the back, sort of like behind the ear, so that they weren't too much around the face, and it was a bit of a smoother line on each side. So there needs to be some gathers in here. At this point I decided I would try to sew up the gathering for the front brim, which was when I realised how unpleasant it is to hand sew this fabric. I don't want to use this fabric again, hand sewing, because it's just grabbing fluff, like I said before. You need something with a proper weave. And magically, there it is. And I noticed that if I had it like that, the lining fabric was going to be showing, so that needed to change. I then proceeded to unpick it and pin it all again. I'm sorry, hat. I have a slightly bizarre setup where I'm filming myself in the mirror. That's just how it's going. This project is intense, and I wanted to show you it on a human head. So we've got a nice bit of closhiness, 1920s closhiness, and these are clipping together, so there will be a nice crease, and that'll be nice and smooth down there. I've got a little pin there because it's just holding in the lining, and the brim is actually like coming a little bit down, kind of like up at the front, and then it can go down at the back. The problem is this side, I've got loads of extra fabric compared to this side. So what I am going to do is unpick it, which I'm a bit sad about, but I don't really think I've got an option. There's just too much fullness on this side and a lot less on this side, so yeah, it looks very wonky. I then rather grumpily unpicked my stitching. Luckily this felt doesn't seem to scar or anything like that, so just ruffle it a bit and the stitch marks come out. So that's fine, that's cool, that's good. I unpicked between the front ruffly bit and the side pleating, and then I made some new pleats, just a bit smaller, a bit more delicate, and using those strong little clips to hold them in place. Obviously I didn't measure anything, I just eyeballed it. But I ended up taking out about ½ inch of the brim. You can join that back up. I left those clips in because I thought, oh, I'll preserve my lovely pleats, but then no. I have to take them out to sew that back up. And pin it up to sew up and get rid of that ½ inch excess. So I have resewn this. Oh, I'm starting to hate this project. Do a quick little hat. It's only 4 pieces. It's going to be quick and simple. Yeah, right. No such thing as a quick project. I'm tired of fighting with you, hat. Oop. Faff. I pinned the lining to the inside yet again, but this time I did it about a centimetre higher than the seam on the outside, and I thought maybe I could do the stitch in the ditch method and have no sewing showing on the outside, which kind of worked, except for I discovered the limits of my sewing machine's capabilities when it came to areas where there were about 6 or 8 layers of thick felt fabric, and then she did not like that whatsoever. So a partial success, I would say. I went back over this and whip stitched the inside so there wasn't any flappy bits. That's not a technical term. Just, you know, nothing that will catch on the inside, so it's nice and smooth. And with that, she was finished, at last. I can't say that I'm going to take up any millinery projects in the future, but I like this hat. I think it will work with maybe a 20s or 30s outfit. And it definitely needs some decoration. I might put some beads or some flowers on it. But yeah, I'm quite happy. It's a rather nice warm hat. Thank you for watching my video. It was stressful, and I think that showed through. So yeah, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.